There are a handful of things that I do consistently or I think about consistently that have a big impact on how much I spend, on how much I save, on my current financial situation. And what I want to do today is deep dive into those things and explain those to you in a very detailed and reasoning behind it and the best ways that I practice each of these. So we're going to go ahead, get right into those tips. The first one is that I prepare before I go to the grocery store because this is a large expense. The average U.S. household spends over $500 a month on groceries. The average U.S. household wastes over $40 a month of those groceries. Now, I don't know about you, but my monthly budget is above that average. What I spend on groceries is above that. And I want to hear from you. I'm very interested to seeing what my viewers, what my audience is spending on groceries, what you're seeing wherever you are. So put down in the comments below how much you spend on average weekly, on average monthly, where you are in the world, to give us a different perspective of what's going on in this community that I have here on YouTube. The thing that I focus on is when you're looking at your budget and any line item that is $500 or above, you would think takes a little more thought. Let's really think about this expense. Calls for more preparation and thought behind it. If you just go and spend it each week and it's maybe, I don't know, 100, 150, it may not seem like a lot to you, but when you add it up over that month, the average is 500. That's a big chunk of money. That's a car payment in some cases. Sometimes looking at it that way makes you realize just how important taking the time to be prudent with that money is. My preparation for this is very streamlined. It only takes me about 10 to 15 minutes each week to really focus on this budget line item to make sure I'm maximizing what I'm bringing in to my house, the food that I have, that I'm wasting less, that I'm spending efficiently. So Saturday mornings I sit down. The first thing I do is go into my fridge. That's where your most perishable items are going to be, the ones that have the least amount of shelf life. Then I go and check out the freezer and then the pantry. Second, I will go and then check out the weekly sales that are at the store that I go to. And then third, I consult my family favorites meal list. So I've seen what I have that I need to use. I've seen what's on sale. So I know kind of a general idea of things that I can make. Now, my family favorites meal list is a list of foods that my family eats on rotation that they like. And then what I want to do is look at my calendar for the week ahead. What I will do is decide on the dinners for that week. I think about each night. If it's a weekend, I know for me, we're probably going to have some more time. I can make something more complex. I can make something where I can make extra leftovers. Now, if it's a night during the week where my husband and I are both getting home at 5 o'clock or after, it might be something like whipping up breakfast for dinner or a spaghetti that's super quick or eating leftovers on that night. From there, I write down my list of what dinners I'm going to make for that week. Now, I prepare dinners for the week. There are certain meals, they can vary. So keep in mind that you can take those meals. Let's say you decide on 3 or 4 dinners. You don't have to make that spaghetti on Monday. You can make that spaghetti on Thursday and make the tacos on Monday. This is just a list that you've got, 3 to 5 meals that you're going to have the food and the ingredients for that you can prepare easily for that week. From there, I take what ingredients I need, the ones that I don't have, what's on sale, what I need to add in, and I write my list. Now, I also make sure to add to that list the typical things my family eats for breakfast and lunches, which really don't vary. They don't tend to vary much, so I know the things on repeat that we need to get: yogurt, milk, cheese, etc. Those things go on the list. I know I'll have them on hand. So we have a couple, 2 to 3 options of things that we can eat for breakfast and lunch if we're not having leftovers for lunch, which is typically what we do. If you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to hit the like button down below. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos from me. Number 2 is I regularly revisit reoccurring expenses. For me, this happens on a monthly basis when I look at creating the new next budget, because not every month's budget looks the same. Life changes, things come up, new jobs, new stages in life. We are constantly evolving, and to think that something that you are paying for right now will still be needed or necessary in the future isn't realistic. Reoccurring expenses are likely to be something like memberships. So maybe it's a gym membership, maybe it's a news app. Many newspapers and news outlets do memberships now because people aren't reading actual newspapers or magazines as much or watching cable TV. Subscriptions are a big one. We are such a subscription-based society now. I mean, remember back in the day when you used to go, if you needed a software, like an Adobe software, you would go buy that version of the software and then you would have it. Well, now you can't do that. You have to go on and have a subscription where you pay for it monthly. And for instance, this is an idea of how I would look at this is I use subscriptions for basically all of my YouTube work. I have a video editor software. I have my thumbnail and graphic editing software, my photo editing software, all that I use and I pay on a monthly basis for them. Well, if one day I stopped doing YouTube, I would no longer need those. So things can change and rotate in your life, and you want to make sure that you aren't missing any of those. You aren't having these phantom money leaks. Regularly pulling out your bank account or credit card statements from the month before is a key strategy to make sure you aren't one who is wasting money on these unused subscriptions. You aren't part of that average $200 a year that's just leaving your life. Understand that life changes and you have to reevaluate these expenditures to see if you are still even using them or if you are still using them enough to justify the cost of them. Number 3 is really trying to control impulse spending. This is where you're mindlessly spending, where it's not something you intentionally were going out to purchase. You really researched, thought about. I want to show you a graph of spending I found on CapitalOneShopping.com. I will link it down below. You can see that in 2020, average impulse spending around $2,100. Then it popped up into 2022 at $3,700. Average impulse spending, average $3,700. Oddly, in 2023, it went down to $1,800. And then last year, let's talk about that number because it's the most relative to us. It was just a few months ago, $3,381. Now they predicted out the next, 5 years, but that is just a prediction. They don't know. Think about $3,381 impulse spending. Another part of the article points out a couple of the statistics that they found from the survey that they did. And this was, I'll link the article down below so you can see all those details. The average consumer makes 6 impulse purchases per month. And the most common of those items are clothing at 55% or grocery shopping, so 50%. And then household items, go to Target and see some cute stuff, or Marshalls or Home Goods, see cute things on the shelf and you think you need it, 42%. But here is the one that was kind of shocking to me. Impulse buying accounts for up to 62% of grocery sales revenue. Think about that. So at the grocery store, the revenue that the grocery stores get, 62%, well over half of the purchases are not on a list. They're just impulse buys. The thing about impulse buying is it's so much easier to do now. So think before you had apps and things on your phone. Impulse buying used to be just walking through the shopping mall or not taking your list to the grocery store. You bought whatever you wanted, but now it's taken on an entire new level, which correlates with why it's on the rise. Back before the internet, back before phones and how quickly, easily it is to push one button, you still had to intentionally go to the grocery store. But now impulse buying is sitting on your couch in your pajamas, scrolling social media, seeing an ad, clicking on it, putting in the saved credit card information that your phone has, that you saved there, and clicking buy. And the next thing you know, you forget what you even purchased and it shows up on your doorstep. It happens literally within seconds. Many people also impulse buy because of their emotions. So they let their emotional state find themselves bored, sad, and in a quick way to boost their mood is to purchase something. So there are several strategies that I use that help eliminate, or not eliminate always, but alleviate, reduce impulse purchases. And the first is cut back or stop scrolling on social media. Now, before any of you say, well, Jennifer, you're on social media, In my opinion, YouTube is a different type of social media platform. When I talk about social media, I'm talking about the social media where you have the phone in your hand and you're literally scrolling. I utilize YouTube to watch podcasts, to learn things, to be informed. Yes, there's some entertainment on it, but it's long form. It's not the slot machine type of scrolling. So the slot machines, when you're gambling, they found that you will keep doing it if you get quick wins every once in a while. So if you're scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, you can scroll, then you see something interesting. Then you're going to scroll, see something interesting. Every time you see something interesting, it's like a quick win, just as if you get a win on a gambling slot machine. In between all of that scrolling, there are ads. There are people showing other parts of their life. You see something and you think, I need that. The second one that I use is removing shopping apps from my phone. So I may put a shopping app on my phone if I know I'm going there. Let me tell you, the only time I do this is I know I'm going there, and I know that usually at that store, wherever that is, there is a coupon on the app. Then before, I will intentionally put that on my phone. I will go in, find the coupon, screenshot it, use it at checkout. Now, when I'm done, I delete it off of my phone. I'm not going to let it sit there when I'm sad, bored, hungry, angry, and let me start scrolling it and again, be tempted to put myself in a better mood and buy something. You can also put in place a 24-hour rule where you go, you're scrolling social media. I'm not saying to alleviate it completely. You may enjoy it. You're scrolling social media. You're like, ooh, I don't know, that jean skirt's really, really cute. Let me go find one. I think I'm interested in that. Find a really cute one. Oh, gosh, I like that. Put it in the cart, but you can't check out for 24 hours. And then you're probably going to forget about it completely, which in the case was an impulse buy. If you don't, you could still go and check out. You're going to feel better about the purchase though, because you know you really want it. The other thing is only purchase what's on your list. That's your rule. That's your hard, fast rule. If it's not on the list, we're not going to get it. If that's hard for you, if it's not on the list at the grocery store, you can have one thing only. But the fact that 62% of things purchased at the grocery store are impulse buys was one statistic that really blew my mind here. Number 4 is another one that I've had more of a realization that I always consistently have. There's always something. There's always one more thing, and it's setting a money saving goal. There's something that I'm saving for, some sort of intention. And I think there's a serious reason behind it, because if you don't constantly have a goal, or at least for me, that you're aiming at, it makes it harder to actively save money. What are you saving for? What's the end goal here? Not having a financial goal is like driving around without a GPS or a destination in mind. So when you have a goal, there's a reason to sacrifice. There's a reason to say no to something else right now for the thing that you want more that's later on down the road. There's a bigger picture that you are looking at. My tip here is to make your goal visual. When we were paying off our mortgage, we used this mortgage tracker. This is our exact mortgage tracker. And we tracked from August of 2018 to May 2nd of 2024. That's the day that we paid off our mortgage. And you can even see, so in 2018, my daughter was at that time about a year and a half, and she was 7 when we finished. So you can see it's all pretty in color down here. That's me coloring it in. And then it gets a little bit more kiddish and a little more fun as you go up. And that's because she saw this consistently as we were paying off our mortgage, which is a great lesson for her to actively see. Not just the paying off the mortgage, but having a big financial goal ahead and actively being patient, sacrificing, and working towards that goal. The thing about having it was such an event to color in every $10,000 as they were knocked off. We saw having the tracker, it was always on the fridge. It was there when we left to go to work. It was there when we got home. Now I recommend whatever your goal is, whatever that might be, breaking that goal down into smaller ones. That could be saving a certain amount each month. If it's just saving up for an emergency fund, you can still put this on some sort of visual. Paying off a number as large as a mortgage is very daunting, and it's, you don't feel like you get there quickly, so you kind of give up. But by breaking it down for us in the $10,000 increments, it was way more manageable. So let's say you have And it was more encouraging. Every time we got to color it off, that was a huge chunk. And then when we got below 200,000, it was 100,000 something. And then we got below 100,000 and it was only 5 digits. That was so, so cool. If you got say you have a car payment, there's $10,000 to pay off on your car, and you do it in increments of $500 or $1,000 every time you do that, that's one small quick win. But I think that having a money goal, if you don't currently have one, it could be something super small, a little vacation, a little thing you want to buy yourself. Whatever it is, it will help encourage that constant habit if you have a hard time making sure that you're putting that money aside. Don't forget to let me know down below regarding average what you're spending monthly, weekly, whatever, on your grocery purchases. I want to get an idea of what people are spending around the world. It's just something, I call it an inquisitive mind. I want to know what's going on with my viewers. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it always helps my channel if you click on that like button. You can also share my video with others. Hit the subscribe button down below. I hope to get to 100,000 subscribers soon. It is one of my biggest goals. I've been taking it small steps at a time, and I've been doing YouTube since 2018, so right before we started tracking the mortgage payoff. And it's just been a slow process, but every bit has been enjoyable, and I want to thank all of you who are here currently and all of you who are new who may be finding me for the first time. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead.